So this is, as advertised, 5 questions to uncover your meaningful work and feel confident in your value. So lots of people signed up for this in answer to the "Are you feeling unfulfilled and undervalued?" question. Lots of people feeling that way right now. And it feels like quite a vulnerable time to move for a lot of people. So I'd like to show you how I can take you through a process over a few months to get you to where you want to be, where you know you're making a meaningful contribution to what you're doing. So we're just going to start off by looking at what's keeping you stuck and or hidden right now, because that's why you're unfulfilled and undervalued, by the way, because you're not doing what you really feel like you should be doing or what your soul's calling you to do, and you're undervalued because you're hidden in some way, either by somebody else or because of what you're doing. So if you know why that is and you're willing to share, pop that in the chat or feel free to come on and tell me. So, and I'll show you on the next slide what other people are saying. So just to give you some confidence that you're not alone in how you're feeling. So for some people, they just lost their job, they're angry, scared, they can't afford to wait, but they don't want to stay stuck. Some people used to feel like they knocked it out of the park all the time and now they just can't be bothered anymore. Some people have got imposter syndrome, worried that they just got the job by luck and that somebody senior is going to call them out. Others are second guessing and thinking, should they go contract, become an interim, change roles, do something different, but they don't know, or they feel like they don't know what they want anymore. For those of you that have been in families, had children, moved countries, we start to lose our sense of who we are a little bit. So if that's you, don't worry, you're in the right place. Guy saying too many plates spinning and you need to cut off the most important, cut to the most important stuff. Good. And it's that prioritizing what's the most important stuff. And it's not always us. And that's one of the posts I shared today. And sadly, that is not the right conclusion to be happy. Some people feel that they're limited, they're returning to work, so they need flexibility in location or time, and that, beggars can't be choosers kind of mentality there, which is not helpful. Juliet saying not feeling listened to. People are asking her for advice and then ignoring her and then asking her to fix it when exactly what she said would happen did happen. Yes, sounds familiar, the consultant's woe. So how do you get more influence? How do you get people to listen to you and act on you the first time round rather than after they've proved you right? And down the bottom right, quite a lot of senior people come to me saying this, that they feel guilty for saying that they're unhappy, that actually they should be pleased with the job that they've got, and they've got good money and they've got a safe home and all the rest of it. But they feel like they should be doing something more, that they were meant for more, that there's more to life. There's just this nagging feeling. And because of this, they can feel that relationships are starting to get tense or snappy, or even the health starting to slip. And all of these are just signs that you need to move, that something is not right where you are. And it might not be that you need to move organizations, in fact, but you need to move, and it's an internal move first, and then it will be obvious what to do. So let me show you how that's the case. So your sane options, as I posted the other day, are to accept where you are, to change where you are, or to leave it. And this was based on Mahatriya's idea that you're sitting underneath a mango tree. Mango tree is life, or your relationship, or your job. The metaphor works brilliantly for everything. And you're sitting under the mango tree complaining that they're not oranges. And it's just such a fabulous metaphor to stop you moaning mindlessly to yourself. Either you accept you're under a mango tree, learn to like mangoes, make a smoothie with the mangoes and put something else in it, if that's where you've decided you're going to be. Or you can change it by mixing it up, or, trying to get the tree to flower differently. But, that's hard work. Changing it is a really hard option. You could make your smoothies, though. I guess that changes it up a bit. Or you could leave it. You could say, hey, this mango tree is not working for me. What I really want in life is oranges, and go and find an orange tree. But the most stupid thing to do is to sit under the mango tree and expect someday, because of your complaining, it will suddenly give you oranges. It won't. So this snaps me out of my complaining and into action most times, or makes me go very Zen and Buddhist and think, okay, I'm going to just accept this. So these 5 questions that I said I would ask you, these 5 questions just focus back onto you again. in a way that we don't usually do. The problem that we've got to is that we have got so used to putting other people first. You know, as somebody was saying in the chat, you're trying to prioritize things and you never get to the top of your priority list. And that is a surefire recipe for misery, sadly. So the first question to ask yourself is, what are your native talents? What do you just do effortlessly that you're probably not even aware of? And it's a really hard question to ask you. When I'm working with clients, there's a number of diagnostics and things you can give them to shine a light on that kind of thing. But asking for stories generally gives people the quickest route to this. If you think about what people tend to compliment you on, where you've had the easiest success, what people are surprised about, and where you say, but that's just common sense. So for me, when I discovered mine was encouragement, I was like, oh, so lame. Everybody's encouraging, you know, how boring is that? And the person who was doing the diagnostic with me was like, no, it's not that common, actually. Most people aren't that encouraging. And I was like, oh. And since I realized how effortless and enjoyable it was for me, I pretty much made my career out. So this native talent thing, it might be that you're really analytical, that you're really logical, that you're really pragmatic. If you moan about other people not having common sense, that might be it. If you find it easy to get people to do what you want them to do, that might be it. It might be influence for you. So have a think about that. Each of these questions, by the way, scribble down your answers. You don't need to put them in the chat or share them or do anything else with them. This is purely for you. And I'll ask you in a bit if you want some help with this, if you can't work it out for yourself. And it's challenging, particularly with this. It's like, you know, it's the air that we breathe. It's hard to notice. Zoom doesn't want to go to the next slide. There we go. So question 2 is, what are you known for? So this is about your reputation. This is what other people come and ask you about. It's why, oh, we've got some more people coming into the waiting room. Let me just admit them as well. There we go. So what are you known for? What do people come and ask you about? What have you won awards for? What do people share with other people? How do other people introduce you? Hopefully not by your job title, but say if you were going to meet new people, how do your friends introduce you? That will start to give you an idea of what you're known for. Welcome to people that have just joined. Do tell us who you are and where you're from in the chat. You missed the first couple of questions, but never fear, we can catch you up later. So question number 3 even, what are you passionate about? So this doesn't have to be like some big charitable cause. It could be your family, it could be children, it could be war, it could be internet security. You know, it doesn't have to be some, you know, global life-changing thing. It's just the thing that you're passionate about. And if you don't know, another good question supplementary to that to ask yourself is, what's the fastest path to your joy? So if you wanted to make yourself happy right now, right this minute, what would you do? That's going to give you a big clue. And question 4, this is really revealing for lots of my clients. Who or what do you want to power? And embedded in here is the realization that you are incredibly powerful. You're so powerful, people spend millions just to get your attention all day long. So what is it that you want to power? Do you want to power revolutions? Do you want to power a change somewhere? Do you want to power better standards in some industry? Are there certain groups of people that you want to empower? Is it about women in technology? Is it about refugees? What do you want to power? And again, another way to sort of get to this is imagining you had a magic wand. What would you do with that magic wand? What would the first spell be? That will give you an idea of what's most important to you right now. Your second spell is likely to be what you are trying to power. So that's another interesting one to try out on myself right now. And number 5, what would it take to make you prioritize your needs? So this is a really tough one. As I was saying in the beginning, most of us are prioritizing other people first. You know, it's our families, it's our work, it's our top clients, maybe the house needs fixing, you know, whatever it is, other things always seem to get in our way. I was posting about this today. and sharing the example that I was literally crying in a bathroom before I realized I needed to prioritize myself. There was a whole load of stuff going on personally. My husband at the time was going through some mental health problems. I was beginning to feel like I was losing the plot on life in general. And I suddenly realized that unless I started to look after myself, then there would be nobody else left to look after the children or the house or the ailing husband. It would all disappear. So when we stop prioritizing ourselves, actually we make ourselves less resourceful and less of a resource to other people. And thinking about what it would take to make you prioritize yourself is it's one of those really horrible, awkward, squirmy kind of questions. But I would really encourage you not to wait until you are at that crunch point where you have to prioritize yourself. Think about what it would take. What would it take for you to become your priority? Because sadly, you will get your own attention in the end. You know, if you have to escalate, if your body has to escalate for you and you start to become unwell or you start to lose focus, in the end, you will force yourself to pay attention to yourself. So why not do it sooner rather than later in a more pleasant way, rather than waiting until you up the ante on yourself? So that's a bit of a harsh question 5, I know, but really consider what would it take to make you prioritize your needs, and hopefully it's not a disaster. And the answer to all of these questions, and for those of you that have stumbled on some of them and thought, well, I don't know, the answer is you need to be more, and this is the name of the mastermind that I'm putting together at the moment. And being more you means knowing who you are, knowing what you want, celebrating who you are, being happy with other people celebrating who you are, deciding that you're going to go and make that impact in the world because you are powerful, that there's no more time to just play small and hide your light. That's not doing you or anybody else a favor, and the people that you're trying to impact are waiting for you. How to get there? Consistency, sadly, is the answer. I used to hate the words habit, discipline, all of those words. But consistency is the way to get there. This kind of discipline, or the art of repetition, as I decided to call it because it sounded nicer. And it's the ultimate change maker. If you can just keep making small changes every day, you will become that different person. So as I started to put myself first and do the things I wanted to do, I found that I was doing more fun things with my children. I was going out more, I was exercising more, I was eating better, I was making better choices, and I became more aware of what I was thinking. And it does take deliberate effort and action to change these habits that we formed over lifetimes of thinking we can't, or we're not good enough, or whatever else. But if you consistently reinforce it, and the number of days varies from study to study, 44 days, 66 days, you know, it varies. But over a number of months, if you can do this consistently, and even better, if you can do it with other people, you will embed these new habits. You'll become more you, and you'll be happier. Why do I want to do this? Because I really believe that if people were happier, living on purpose, contributing what they were supposed to be contributing to the world, they would be making better decisions, they would be doing better work, and they would be more fulfilled, kinder to others, and that ripple effect would carry on through all the people that they touched. And actually the world would be a better place. So that's why I want to do it. And that sounds kind of twee, but making the world a better place. I think we all have that passion inside us that we want to make some real change. So what are your options? Once you realize, okay, this is not what I want to be doing, I want to be doing something else, or I'm not being true to who I am, or actually I don't even know who I am anymore. Don't worry if that's you, that's really quite common. You've got 3 options. You can either do nothing, in which case you're sitting under the mango tree, wishing that oranges would fall from it, but they're never going to. And, you know, don't feel too called out by this. There's lots of people that decide that's what they're going to do, that it's good enough. But you are hiding if you take that option. You could decide to do it yourself. Okay, I see what you're saying, Liz. I've got this. I can see actually I need to be heading in this direction. I felt this calling for a while. I'm going to get my stuff together and I'm just going to go do it. Good luck to you. And I applaud you and encourage you Follow me and on LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram, and hopefully I can give you some encouragement along your journey. I totally encourage you to do that. If you feel like I want to do this, but I know after a week I'm just going to give up, then option 3 is a good one. Get some help. And the people on this call, the people who are in this group, are the perfect people to get some help from. So if this is you, there's a mastermind I'm starting on the 22nd of February called Be More You. It's about finding out who you really are, stepping into the fact that you are incredibly powerful and delivering on that meaning of your life. Even if you've got no idea what the meaning of your life is right now, or you feel stuck, not a problem. So what are we're going to do in this program? There are 6 things we're going to do. It's going to run over 6 months. So it's going to give you plenty of time to embed this properly and be able to do this in combination with a full-on full-time job. So the first one is one of my favorite words: how do I become unfuckwithable? And this is the idea that your self-confidence, your sense of worth, your sense of power and agency and who you are is not something that you're going to debate. It's not up for debate, not up for conversation. And it's based around mindsets and your beliefs that you have. And we have lots of limiting beliefs. So that's the first section. The second is, who am I? I wrote a book called Unstuck, and in it I talked about the different characters we play. We have a whole cast of characters, and life has not done us a favor. And people who talk about being your one true authentic self have not done us a favor either, by implying that there should only be one version of us. We all play different parts. It's so obvious that we're different with our mothers than we are with our lovers, surely. So we're going to look at who the different characters are that you play and what each of those different characters want from you. It's always a fascinating thing with clients. There's usually one character that's rather dark or rather numb, and they don't want to go there. They don't want to look at that character, that part of themselves, that dark aspect of themselves. And yet that is usually where their freedom lies. It's really exciting stuff. The third box, what do I want? And we've got so used to not worrying about what we want, especially if we're the provider part of the family or we're the senior person. We just worry about what our clients want, what our teams want, what our families want, what our children want, what our aging parents want. And we've kind of lost touch a bit with what we want for ourselves. So this is a really delicious opportunity to explore what you really want. What you want at work, but also what you want in life. The fourth box is starting to move into that kind of external world and what do you want to power. So firstly, showing you how much power you actually have, and then deciding what is it that you want to create? What is that impact? And it's not like, you know, imagine you're dying and this is your final wish on your deathbed, because you get to do loads of stuff in your life. You know, we get really obsessed with either that we're making a decision that lasts forever or that we've got to get it done in the next year. And that's just not realistic. But if we take a 5 to 10 year view, actually you can change your life utterly in 5 to 10 years. You can change the world pretty well in 5 to 10 years. But in 1 year, it's too short, and in a whole lifetime, it's just too long, mind-blowing. And we don't want to commit that much. So thinking about what you're going to power, really important. We use things like idea circles here. So you have an idea in the middle of one of the things that you're good at, and then you look at where you can use that and how to combine that in multiple ways. And you end up, when you do this a number of times, with the same theme that keeps coming up again and again and again. And every time you see it, you get more excited and you kind of talk yourself out of it a bit and think, no, I couldn't really do that. And then other people tell you, well, yeah, you could do that. I know people that do that. And you can end up with jobs doing really cool things where actually it was totally sensible to want to do that. You just, because you love it so much, you didn't imagine you could do that as part of what you do. So that, what am I good at? Again, idea circles, but also looking at those native talents that we talked about in the beginning, what you're known for, and then some of the other skill pieces that we can pick up from just looking at your work history. So the things that you really want to do in service of who, together with what you want in the world, that will start to give you this kind of overall purpose statement, overall idea of where to go and look for the next thing. And the final piece kind of pulls it all together with this: how do I get what I want? So now I know a bit more concretely what it is I want. Where is that? How do I create amazing relationships with people? How do I influence? How do I get that network? How do I, as Juliet was saying earlier, how do I get people to do what I want them to do first time rather than waiting for it to collapse? So if that sounds exciting to you, this is how we're going to do it. We're going to have, it's going to run monthly. The first week of the month will be the masterclass, which will be an hour. There'll then be a live Q&A session in week 2. And in between this time, obviously, you're going out into the world and trying this out. It feels weird the first time you do it. It's a bit like if you try and cross your arms the opposite way. It feels a bit like awkward. If you just try that now, you'll see. It's kind of a weird feeling. But the longer you sit like that, the less weird it begins to feel. And this is that consistent repetition I was talking about. There's also a chat group that goes alongside this where you can practice things, you can get support in the group and say, I tried this, but I got this reaction, and other people will feedback, including me. I'll be in the group all the time. So then week 3, we've got this downloadable visualization. So it's something you can just listen to. You can listen to it when you're going to bed, you can listen to it in the morning, you can listen to it while you're driving the car if you want to. I don't do really deep hypnotic stuff. It's really, really easy, but it's just got some nice embedded commands in it that will get you feeling familiar about this. And this is the biggest hurdle, as we'll see, to change, is getting your brain to see it as something that's familiar and expected and not something to reject because it's new. Our brain tends to think new will kill us, which it won't. And then week 4, we're going to do some live Q&A accountability. So we'll share wins and struggles. And again, we'll answer some more questions. Practice and support in the chat, as I said, and there'll be optional sessions. So sometimes people do uncover a really deep belief and actually it's based in something that they just don't want to discuss in the group. That's fine, no problem. I'll share with you some inner circle prices around some of the sessions that I offer. And we can do, usually within 1 or 2 sessions, you can clear some of these things up. It doesn't need years and years in therapy. Some of these things are just beliefs that have got him stuck because of an awkward event or an unpleasant event when you were younger. All the sessions will be recorded, obviously not those one-to-one sessions, but all the masterclasses and the QAs are recorded. So if you do miss something, you can go and catch it back up again, listen to it on the train on the way home, and make sure that you're all caught up to speed as you go along. So what is the cost for this? The cost is just $497. I wanted to make this really, really affordable. This is the founding group, and I just wanted this tight group to go through this the first time at a level where anybody who wanted to join could join. If you need a monthly breakdown on that, you can do the 6 months at £97 a month if that's what you want to do. So let me know in the chat if that is sounding interesting to you, or you can unmute yourself and let me know as well. There's not too many people on the call. And to encourage those who are feeling up for this and thinking, yes, this is something I want to do, there's some fast action bonuses. So the first fast action bonus is a 60-minute coaching session. So usually I'm doing exec coaching at the moment. So the sessions are about £500 usually if I'm doing that in the corporate world. So the first 2 people that say yes, I can give you a 60-minute coaching session for free, and that will just kickstart this journey a bit forward. For the next 3 that say yes, I can do a 30-minute session free. That's worth £250. So do drop your yeses in the chat or send me an email saying, yes, me, I would like to do that. And then just as a thank you for those of you who've attended today, and to make sure we finish on time and value your time, I'd like to offer you all a gift. So if you actually don't know right now what you want, and this is classic, your brain gets a solution to the problem and then you think, okay, well, I could solve it if I wanted to, but actually it's now comfortable to sit here and do nothing because I know I could get out of this if I wanted to. I'd encourage you not to do that. You will keep raising the ante on yourself until you start paying attention to yourself. So have a 15-minute clarity call. I've got a number of slots next week where I can chat to you and help you decide what it is that you need to do. Whether you need to go read a book, come and join the group call. Some people might want to do this faster and say, so I do have some one-to-one coaching tracks available if you want to do this quickly, like 3 months rather than 6 months, and you want more of my attention and feedback. So let me know if that's something that you want to do too on email. That's my email address there, liz@liztimonyconsulting.com. So do let me know what it is that you would like to do. And I hope that the 5 questions have been useful to you. Do pop in the chat if you've got any questions at this point, or unmute yourself and ask a question. Give you a moment to think of it. Okay, if your question's one of those where you don't want to share it in the group, please feel free to email me separately afterwards. Thank you so much for your time. I'm really looking forward to speaking to you all next week, in the next week or so, and helping you get that clarity and meaning and that value that you're looking for. So thank you for your time.